consortium led by Vodacom affiliate Safaricom has won a license to operate a mobile network in Ethiopia. It is the first such award to a private group as the country looks to open up its telecoms industry to competition. The consortium includes Vodacom Group, Vodafone Group, Sumitomo Corporation and CDC Group. Now, it won the bid by offering about $850 million. The deal is set to create up to 1.5 million new jobs and bring $8.5 billion in investment over 10 years. It is also expected to provide 4G and 5G internet services in the country. And by 2023, a low-orbit satellite will be put in place to provide nationwide 4G coverage. Well, let's find out more from Zemedeneh Negatu. He's global chairman of the Fairfax Africa Fund. Great to have you with us today, sir. Now, a lot has been said about the transformative effect that these new entrants into Ethiopia's telecoms market will have, not just on the telecom sector, but also on the country's economy as a whole. Now, given the monopoly that Ethio Telecom has operated for so long now, what are your thoughts on the scale of the impact that these new entrants will have on the country?
First of all, thank you for having me back on your program. As you indicated in your intro, there is going to be a new player in the marketplace in a monopoly that has been in place for 126 years. So that by itself is a dramatic transformation for the market, not just, as you indicated, for the telecom sector, but for many other sectors, from manufacturing to agro, and most importantly for the financial service sector, which needs a robust, reliable, strong telecom infrastructure. So the introduction of, as you've said, the Safaricom consortium, I think will increase not only competition, but enhance the services to customers, both corporate customers and domestic customers. I just wanted to add here that even though Ethio Telecom has been a monopoly for a long time, for the last couple of years, it's actually been preparing for competition. So you see a lot of upgraded services, reliable Wi-Fi. I'm currently talking to you from a very reliable broadband that Ethio Telecom is providing us. So they have also been preparing for this. However, when you face real competition, you have to elevate the game. So I'm confident that we'll be able to compete. Secondly, as you may be aware, in the next couple, 3 months, Ethio Telecom itself is up for privatization. 45% will be privatized, 40% for an international operator, 5% for Ethiopians. So with the strength that they've been building the last, say, couple, 3 years, combined with an international operator, I think they'll be able to compete effectively with the Safaricom consortium. And also, I just want to add something very important. The government has put out 2 licenses, but as you know, on Saturday, the Council of Ministers awarded only one, which is the Safaricom consortium, but they're retendering the second license very shortly, as they said. So you're going to be seeing 3 big competitors in a market which didn't know what competition was. And that's a huge transformational impact on the Ethiopian economy. As I said, beyond telecom, but also the nascent technology ICT sector in Ethiopia will get a big boost. And Ethiopia is also aspiring to be like Kenya. Ethiopia, and the Silicon Valley version of Ethiopia, now has a real viable chance of competing with the introduction of competition and global players in the marketplace.
Well, let's just delve deeper into this question of competition in the sector. Now, as you mentioned, this is a first for Ethiopia. It has largely been a monopoly. And of course, these new entrants already will not be allowed to operate the mobile phone-based financial services, which is something Safaricom is quite popular and known for. In light of this, how ready then is the country for a very competitive telecom sector? And of course, the entrance of international players, profitable companies such as Safaricom.
Very good point. I just want to clarify, emphasize a couple of points. One is mobile money. I'm sure you're aware, the government decided that for now, it would not allow the international telcos to enter mobile money because they wanted to give Ethio Telecom some breathing room. But they have made it very clear. In fact, just only 2 weeks ago, it was announced that a year from now, exactly a year from now, in May 2022, the consortium, the Safaricom consortium, will be allowed into mobile money. But by then, the hope by the government is the Ethio Telecom would have built up its capacity to provide mobile. And it's interesting, in just 1 week of launching its own mobile money services, Ethio Telecom announced that it signed up 1 million subscribers to the services. So their expectation is by this time next year, they would have built enough capacity to be able to compete with, I mean, essentially the inventor, the innovator of mobile money, which is Safaricom through its M-Pesa. So I think they'll be ready. And as I said, it's good for the consumer when you have diversified service providers in a country that, as I said, for 126 years, there was a state monopoly. That, I think, by itself is transformational, but the service capacity that these international companies like Safaricom will bring will also boost the confidence of the consumer, the confidence of corporate customers to use Ethiopia as their base for ICT innovation, to use Ethiopia for financial services innovation, and many other things. And these companies that are investing, I think, will help build that capacity domestically and hopefully attract both domestic and international investors to Ethiopia.
Now, as you mentioned, a new license will be awarded soon. And this, of course, is all part of Prime Minister Abe's planned reforms in the telecom sector. So stepping back, looking at what has happened so far, what are your thoughts on that reform plan?
So the privatization, let's call it the liberalization decision to open up the market was made almost 3 years ago. And since then, as the government has announced, it took a little while, but also, of course, remember last year, COVID slowed down or shut down the world economy. But on the Ethiopian side, they continue to prepare for this process. So I would say they're on track, considering what happened globally, and of course in Africa and in Ethiopia with COVID. I would say the delay was understandable, but now they've successfully sold, at least issued one license. I want to emphasize something important as well. They actually got about $1.5 billion in offers. If they had accepted, as you know, they had two offers. One is for the Safaricom consortium, which is reportedly $850 million, and $600 million was from the MTN consortium. Combined was about $1.5 billion. That's actually a pretty good indication that these telecom operators, the new ones coming to Ethiopia, were willing to put up $1.5 billion. It's a strong indicator of the market potential of a country of 117 million people, the third largest GDP in sub-Saharan Africa, which the IMF is forecasting that in 2022, Ethiopia will be growing by about 8.1%. So this is what the investors like the Safaricom consortium were looking at. And as I said, the government receiving $1.5 billion, while still COVID is ravaging a lot of the world, for these companies to have that level of confidence speaking with their money, I think is a testament that the reform process, specifically as you asked me on the telecom sector, is gaining momentum and has actually showed one major result, as you said, like Saturday, the award of license to the Safaricom consortium.
Quite right. Well, we'll certainly continue watching that. Many thanks for your insights, Mr. Negatu. That, of course, is Zemedeneh Negatu. He's a global chairman of the Fairfax Africa Fund.